Hello, in the description of the athlete, we find that is male. He is 24 years old. He is 177 centimeters tall and is competing in the volleyball discipline and the University of Dinamarca. First, in the identity of the gyre gesture, we have to project the element y its greatest possible forms in a GIF area that is achieve a maximum height with force and transmitted it to element, in this case the ball. And second, it's more land understood that it's a cyclic moving, so we can see that it's considered five pace. In the first, we find some accommodation step in which the body accommodates the race on steep accommodate in front of the ball. And along step the worldwide he help use located yourselves in front of the network. In the second phase, we find how the athlete transfer the energy of the impulsor into vertical energy for the jump with the help of the arms. In the third phase, we find how the athlete first vertical aligns his body and then his arm adjusts to attack the ball. In the fourth phase, we find that the athlete points to the ball by the opposite hand with which it's going to hit it, and where hitting is transmitted its energy to the ball. In the fight phase, we find how the athlete cushions the fall in the balance way to continue it with the dynamics of the game.
Identification of mechanical purpose of the parts of the sport gesture. Features: shoulder, get adequate ball, speed and trajectory. Knee, support the entire leg, taking care of the movement in order to achieve to the correct execution. Hip, helps stabilize the body and give consistency to the movement from the feet to the part of the trunk to give strength to the blow. They are four paces in the movement. Pace 1. Rise. Speed and acceleration are essential to generate sufficient movement in the impulse and to have a correct takeoff. Pace 2. Transfer. The vertical speed increases until reaching the maximum taking advantage of the horizontal speed of the previous pace, including detachment of feet from to the ground and bending of external rotation of the shoulder. Pace 3. Fly. In the bliss with the external rotation of the right shoulder are ends with the internal rotation begins at the moment of contact with the element. The height and maximum speed are raised and the hit to the object is achieved due to the force and momentum with which the player goes. To fulfill the first objective, it is necessary that, at the beginning of the blow, the body is full extended and perpendicular to the ground. Pace 4. Fall. It begins when the player falls on the point and the pace and the plan of the ground at the moment of impact. Its lower tongue is support all the way, but in the same while upper tongue will help maintain the stability of the player.
4. Identification of the biomechanical factors that determine the achievements of mechanical purpose. First, we'll analyzing kinematic purpose of shift, speed, and acceleration of the joints shoulder, hip, and knee. Analyzing the kinematic chain. First, shoulder, observe the shift is constant because the movement is directed forward without change of direction. The speed change radically in the strike phase due to the torque that the shoulder make on the contact the ball. The acceleration is in relation to how the movement leads will in the strike phase. The acceleration is to give it more strength to contact the ball. The displacement of the hip is constant until the jump where is raised with the full body. The speed increases in the fall phase because it comes with a direct action of gravity. The acceleration undergoes change in the jump and the fail phase because it comes hard and constant race. Technique moves constantly on the x-axis while the movements in displacement according to the jump. The knee increases in the speed in the jump and decreases in the fail phase. The knee accelerates and decelerates during the jump and fail phase due to the impulse incarried and the leading of the body at the end of the movement. Kinetics purpose. The force applied in the jump will reflect the moment, where it will help to reach its maximum point from the it desired and no force is applied to it. In the kinetic energy, the work done in the jump phase is noted, beginning the highest point. In the potential energy, the consequence of the force applied in the movement is seen alternating in the jump and returning to normality in the fall. A force is generated that is product of the advance and the horizontal speed. When having to contact with the feet with the ground, a flexion of the knee is produced, which is where it cushions the movement to have what to lighten the knee. The maximum height that is reached at the end of the beating phase will the hip be the vertical speed of the moment. This the external force that will be involved in the gesture at gravity and air resistant.
Biomechanical principles. Initial force. The number of steps on the pulse run depends on the characteristics of the subject. It generally comprises 3 steps according to the distance between the ball and the student. The last most important step should be the longest and flush, as it prepares the body biomechanical condition for a good takeoff. The impulse streak is breaked with the heel of the foot. Optimal acceleration path. In this movement, the arm extends above and behind the body. Quickly, the rear foot is placed parallel to the other for a better use of force. Your success depends on optimal horizontal to vertical speed transfer. The whole arm is placed above the shoulders, the palm of the hand faces the ground. It's now when the attack movement begins. Coordination of part and impulse. The principle is based on the achievement of the movements that reach to objective, where the jump must be coordinated with the movement of the arms and the ball falls to be able to hit in with the palm of the hand. Action reaction. The arm describes a first forward and upward movement hitting with the hand. At this time, the arm moves extend. The arm descends in front of the body. After hitting the ball, the hand is withdrawn quickly. The player descends tactic the ground with both feet, making a small dipping movement through flexing the legs. Momentum perseveration. The fall is dynamic, allowing the player to prepare for the next move.
In the biomechanical model, I find that the object is to bring the body to a maximum height to be able to hide the ball in the better way and with more force, and the temporal factors to affect the object will be the body composition, the force we with weights in the jumps, and how is located in front of the main. This happens when the impulse stroke is the adequate and also the elements in upper and lower segments, and generate this Dow Jones mood we will strange signs is what can diary rotation that affect the different zones, so and they include knees, hips, and shoulders.
Low speed in the initial phase, short step in the rest, low amplitude in hip station, hit the ball with your arm beat, little tube bending when hitting the ball, like abdominal straightening, generates all cross at all, fall on foot, use adjusted position, feet very close when it falls. One foot more advanced and another unstable position to receive.
In off hits and misses. Here we see the errors we stop early but in a hierarchical list. Race, success and misses. The starter foot is in the correct position. The steps are a bit short, they must go longer to have better momentum. Takeoff. Speed is constant from start to takeoff. Jump at the ground time. Flag. The guide arm is fully extended. The back should be more arched when hitting the ball. Fault. At the moment of impact, pace of the toe fist and then the rest of the plant. Supports one foot instead of both. The left foot falls first.
9. Error correction. 1. In the first phase of the race, take the longest step for a better takeoff. 2. The last step should have an acceleration for general create transfer for horizontal to vertical. 3. The extension in the jump must be more completed to achieve a great range. 4. Direct the support arm more towards where the ball is executed. 5. When failing, it's recommended to do it on both feet for better coaching.